In the quiet depths of our being, there are moments when individuals seem to vanish from the spiritual landscape, lost in a shadowed silence, disconnected from their true essence. The mystery of these disappearances has puzzled many, yet the ancient and profound insights of Edgar Cayce reveal that behind this veiling lies a deeper story, a story written in the Akashic records, etched into the very fabric of the soul's eternal journey. As we peer into the mysteries of reincarnation, karma, and the echoes of Atlantis, we uncover how the soul's quest for balance and awakening can sometimes lead to moments of spiritual eclipse. But within these shadows, there is hope. The emergence of the Christ consciousness beckons, guiding us back to our divine origin, restoring the connection that time and forgetfulness threaten to sever. The answers are written in the spiritual archives, waiting to be uncovered by those who seek the truth beneath the surface. Truth that holds the key to understanding why some souls seem to disappear, only to re-emerge stronger, more radiant, and more aligned with the divine plan. As we continue our sacred voyage into the depths of spiritual understanding, it becomes imperative to confront the enigma of those souls who at times seem to vanish from our perception. Those who, despite their physical presence, drift into a shadowy silence, as if their essence has momentarily slipped beyond the veil. The phenomenon of individuals who disappear spiritually is not merely a matter of physical absence or emotional disconnection. It is, in truth, a reflection of the intricate divine design woven into the fabric of the soul's eternal journey. The mystery beckons us to look beyond the surface, beyond the fleeting appearances, and to peer into the deeper currents flowing through the records Akashicos, where the soul's most sacred truths are kept in sacred trust. The soul, as revealed through the teachings of Edgar Cayce, is an eternal traveler, an entity that incarnates time and again to fulfill its divine purpose. Yet in this grand process of evolution and self-discovery, there are moments when the spirit chooses or is guided into states of quiet exile. These are not accidents or random occurrences. Rather, they are strategic pauses designed by the divine to facilitate necessary lessons, to allow the soul to reflect, to recalibrate, and to move closer toward the realization of its inherent Christ consciousness. In the Akashic records, it is written that the soul's journey is not always linear. Sometimes it spirals inward, retreating into the inner sanctum of its divine core for renewal. This retreat can manifest outwardly as silence, as a disappearance from the visible spiritual landscape. The soul, seeking balance and harmony, may temporarily withdraw from familiar connections, communities, or even from its own sense of identity. It is a sacred act, a moment of inner gestation, where the soul seeks to reconcile its karma, absorb divine insights, and prepare for its next phase of awakening. The teachings of Cayce reveal that such disappearances are often rooted in the soul's deep desire for spiritual growth. Sometimes through the necessity of overcoming past karmic debts, the soul may have carried within it wounds or unresolved conflicts from previous incarnations, vestiges of Atlantis' fall, of ancestral patterns, or of unresolved lessons in divine love. These are stored within the records, awaiting the right moment for integration and healing. When a soul chooses to disappear, it is often because it requires a period of intense inner work, an opportunity to confront its shadows, to realign with its higher self, and to prepare for the next luminous emergence. Furthermore, Cayce's insights emphasize that this phenomenon is not a sign of failure or abandonment. Instead, it is a testament to the soul's ongoing pursuit of balance and enlightenment. The soul seeks to harmonize its karmic burdens, to transmute pain into wisdom, and to expand its consciousness. It is through these periods of apparent silence that the soul deepens its connection to the divine, tapping into the divine blueprint encoded within the records, which guides its evolution beyond the limitations of the physical realm. We must understand that the disappearance of a soul from our perception can also be a deliberate act, an intentional retreat in service of the greater cosmic plan. The soul may choose to withdraw from worldly pursuits to intensify its inner work, to deepen its communion with the Christ consciousness, or to prepare for a profound re-entry into the collective consciousness. As Cayce's readings reveal, the divine plan often involves cycles of concealment and revelation, moments of darkness preceding the dawn of spiritual illumination. In these moments, The soul's journey is akin to a seed buried deep within the earth, seemingly absent from the surface, a silent gestation that holds within it the promise of new life. The divine architect, working through the soul's divine blueprint, orchestrates this concealment so that the soul may emerge renewed and radiant, bearing the fruits of its internal labor. When the time is right, through divine grace and alignment with the Christ consciousness, the soul reappears, shining with newfound clarity, compassion, and understanding. What, then, is the significance of understanding this phenomenon? It is, fundamentally, an act of compassion and awareness, a recognition that disappearance is not an end, but a sacred phase within the soul's glorious pilgrimage. It underscores the importance of patience, trust, and the acknowledgement that each soul's timing is divinely orchestrated. The records teach us that the universe operates in perfect harmony. No soul is ever truly lost or forsaken. Instead, every disappearance is a necessary step toward ultimate reunion with the divine source, a journey back to the fullness of love, unity, and spiritual wholeness. By exploring Cayce's insights, we come to understand that these moments of spiritual retreat serve as vital catalysts for growth. The soul, in its pursuit of the higher realms, seeks to embody the divine attributes of love, compassion, and wisdom, attributes that are cultivated in silence, in solitude, in the sacred darkness before the dawn. It is in these hidden chambers of the soul that the divine spark is nurtured, ready to ignite anew when the divine timing arrives. In closing, I remind you that the mystery of spiritual disappearance is ultimately a testament to the divine intelligence guiding each soul's journey. The records reveal that the universe is a vast, compassionate tapestry, each thread of experience woven with love and purpose. For those who have felt the absence of loved ones, or have wondered why some seem to vanish from the spiritual landscape, know this: the soul's longing for unity and awakening is never lost. It persists beyond the apparent darkness, patiently awaiting its moment to emerge stronger, more radiant, and more aligned with the divine plan, embodying the Christ consciousness that unites all of creation in divine harmony. The journey is ongoing, and the mystery is not a sign of separation, but a sacred chapter in the eternal story of the soul's ascendancy. The records hold the truth, waiting for those who seek with open hearts to uncover it, truth that whispers of divine love, perpetual return, and the eternal dance of the soul in harmony with the divine will. Within the sacred silence of the soul lies a profound truth, woven into the very fabric of existence itself. As we have traversed the depths of understanding regarding the silent retreats and the mysterious disappearances of the spirit, sacred pauses in the divine plan, we now turn our gaze inward, into the eternal cycle that sustains the evolution of the soul, the reincarnational cycle. It is here, in the records Akashicos, that the divine script reveals the intricate dance of rebirth, a journey designed not by chance, but by divine intention, to resolve karma and elevate the spirit toward unity with the Christ consciousness. The soul, as revealed in the sacred texts of the records, is an eternal spark of divine light that has journeyed through countless existences, each incarnation a step on its path toward spiritual maturity. This cycle is not random nor arbitrary. Rather, it is a divine curriculum, carefully crafted in harmony with the divine plan, to bring each soul into perfect alignment with divine love and wisdom. The soul seeks through its incarnations to attain balance, to resolve the karmic debts accumulated over eons, and to eventually embody the fullness of its divine nature. In the vast library of the Akashic records, it is written that every life is a lesson, every challenge a divine opportunity for growth. The soul reincarnates repeatedly because it is driven by an intrinsic desire to heal, to learn, to transcend. The records reveal that karma, the law of cause and effect, functions as the guiding principle, ensuring that each action, whether rooted in love or fear, will return to the soul in due time, offering lessons for correction and understanding. The soul's journey is thus a process of continual refinement, a sacred odyssey of awakening. Yet why does the soul choose certain circumstances, specific lessons, or particular challenges in each incarnation? The answer lies in the divine harmony of the soul's overall purpose. As the records disclose, each incarnation is a carefully calibrated chapter, tailored to confront specific karma, to awaken dormant potentials and to foster the soul's evolution toward spiritual maturity. It is in the crucible of earthly experience that the soul seeks to shed illusions, to purify its consciousness, and to deepen its connection to divine love. This cycle of re-embodiment is not a punishment, but a divine gift, a sacred opportunity to grow beyond the limitations of previous states of consciousness. The soul, in its divine wisdom, understands that true progress often requires multiple lifetimes. It seeks out experiences that will bring unresolved karma into awareness so it can confront, forgive, and transcend. It is through this process that the soul moves closer to the goal of embodying the Christ consciousness, a state of divine love, compassion, and enlightened awareness. The records emphasize that, at a certain point in its evolutionary journey, the soul begins to outgrow the need for further incarnations. The divine timing is crucial. It is only when the soul has achieved sufficient resolution of karma and cultivated a divine consciousness that it is ready to ascend into higher realms beyond the cycle of rebirth. This is the moment of spiritual culmination when the soul is prepared to return to its divine origin, to merge with the infinite, and to embody the divine love that it has gradually learned to express through countless lives. In the context of our previous exploration of silent retreats and disappearances, we see that these pauses often represent moments when the soul pauses its outward journey to focus inward, to assimilate lessons, to recalibrate its spiritual compass, and to prepare for the next phase of its divine evolution. These sacred pauses are not signs of abandonment or loss, but are, in truth, the soul's deliberate steps toward higher understanding, guided by divine intelligence encoded within the Akashic records. Furthermore, the records reveal that the soul's reincarnational cycle is intricately linked to its pursuit of the divine Christ consciousness. Each lifetime provides an opportunity to embody greater compassion, wisdom, and unconditional love. The soul's repeated journeys serve as a divine classroom, where the soul learns to transcend the limitations of ego, to forgive past wounds, and to awaken to its divine nature. In contemplating this sacred cycle, it becomes clear that the apparent disappearances of the spirit are, in essence, sacred respites in the soul's journey, moments of silent reflection, integration, and preparation. These pauses serve to purify karmic residues and elevate the consciousness, so that when the soul re-emerges into physical form, it is further aligned with divine purpose. The divine wisdom contained within the records Akashicos affirms that the soul's ultimate aim is unity with the divine love that birthed it. Every incarnation, every pause, every lesson learned brings the soul closer to that luminous reunion. The cycle of reincarnation is thus a sacred continuum, an elegant divine choreography designed to awaken the soul to its true nature, to heal its karmic wounds, and to guide it toward the radiant light of Christ consciousness. As we stand at the threshold of the understanding, let us remember that the soul's journey is a sacred dance of eternal unfolding. The divine intelligence within the records reveals that each soul, in its own time, will transcend the cycle of rebirth, embracing its divine origin and embodying the eternal love that is its very essence. The divine plan is perfect, and the soul's journey, with all its silent pauses, disappearances, and re-emergences, is a testament to the infinite mercy and wisdom of the divine, guiding each of us back home to the boundless love from which we all emerged. As we continue our sacred journey through the inner realms, guided by the luminous threads woven into the fabric of the Akashic records, we come face to face with a profound truth, the role of karma and lessons in the evolution of the soul. The readings reveal that the soul's retreat, sometimes perceived as a disappearance, may indeed be a silent cry for balance, an unspoken plea for harmony within the self. In understanding this, we uncover the divine necessity of confronting unresolved karma, for it is through this confrontation that the soul finds its true awakening. The soul, before descending into the material plane, exists in a state of divine harmony, a pure reflection of the Christ consciousness. Yet as it journeys through countless incarnations, it accumulates experiences, lessons encoded in the very fabric of the universe's great record keep, the Akashic records. These records serve as both a mirror and a guide, revealing that every action, every thought, and every intent carry with them the energetic imprint of karma. It is written in the eternal library of the cosmos that the soul's evolution hinges upon its ability to recognize, confront, and ultimately transcend these karmic debts. The teachings of Cayce echo this truth. Unresolved karma acts as a barrier, a block that can cause the soul to withdraw, to seek refuge in silence, or even to disconnect from its spiritual purpose altogether. Such withdrawal is not a punishment, but rather a divine signal, a moment crafted by the universe for introspection and healing. When the soul perceives itself overwhelmed by unresolved burdens, it may recede into the depths of its own consciousness, seeking sanctuary from the chaos of imbalance. It is as if the soul whispers, "I need to pause, I need to reflect, I need to heal." In these moments of retreat, the soul is not abandoning its divine path, but is instead aligning itself with the universal law of balance. As the records reveal, the law of karma is not merely a system of punishment or reward. It is the sacred mechanism by which the soul learns and grows. Every unresolved lesson manifests as a disharmony, a dissonant note in the symphony of its spiritual evolution. Such dissonance manifests in physical, emotional, or mental disturbances, often prompting the individual to withdraw from the world or from spiritual pursuits. The challenge for each seeker is to understand that this withdrawal is an opportunity, not an obstacle. It beckons us to turn inward and examine the unresolved issues that lie beneath the surface of our consciousness. Through deep self-awareness, we can recognize the patterns of karma that have dictated certain behaviors or reactions, patterns that may have been inherited, conditioned, or accumulated over multiple lifetimes. These are the echoes of past actions, reverberating through the present, seeking resolution and harmony. The key to unlocking this mystery lies in the awareness that the soul's quest for balance is intertwined with its pursuit of divine love. As Cayce's readings illuminate, the soul's ultimate purpose is to embody the Christ consciousness, an expression of pure, unconditional love that transcends all karmic debts. The journey involves acknowledging these debts, forgiving oneself and others, and making conscious choices aligned with higher principles. Only then can the soul shed the layers of unresolved karma that cause it to withdraw or disconnect. Furthermore, the records teach us that the soul's lessons are not arbitrary, but are intricately designed to foster growth through compassion, humility, and understanding. When karma appears unresolved, the soul is being invited to learn patience, to develop empathy, and to cultivate divine virtues. These lessons are essential, for they serve as the scaffolding upon which higher consciousness is built. The soul, seeking enlightenment, must confront its shadows with courage and humility, acknowledging that each unresolved karma is a mirror reflecting its own divine potential for transformation. The divine order insists that balance be restored. When the soul recognizes its unresolved karma, it is empowered to make amends, either in this lifetime or through the next incarnation, thus completing the sacred cycle of cause and effect. This process is not punitive but restorative. It aligns the individual with the divine flow of love and harmony. In our quest to understand why some individuals seem to disappear spiritually, we find that it is often linked to unresolved karma, an internal discord that manifests as withdrawal. The soul seeks to retreat to heal, to reconcile, and to rebalance the energetic imbalances that hinder its ascent. This retreat is a sacred pause, a divine opportunity granted by the universe for the soul to reflect, learn, and ultimately transcend its limitations. The teachings of Cayce remind us that the journey of the soul is one of continual evolution. Every lesson, every karmic debt, and every moment of withdrawal carries within it the seed of higher consciousness. The soul's pursuit of balance is not a sign of failure, but a testament to its divine purpose, to evolve into love, to embody the Christ consciousness, and to reunite with the eternal source of all creation. It is through self-awareness, forgiveness, and conscious effort that the soul can dissolve the barriers of unresolved karma. When this occurs, the withdrawal ceases, and the soul emerges renewed, more aligned with its true divine nature. The records reveal that in this sacred process, no lesson is lost, no experience wasted, for the universe lovingly guides each soul back to its divine origin, whole, healed, and radiant with divine love. As we contemplate these truths, let us remember, the soul's retreat is but a temporary pause, a divine moment given to us by the cosmic order to realign with our higher purpose. The journey is ongoing, and each step taken toward resolving karma brings us closer to embodying that divine love which is our true nature. In this sacred dance of cause and effect, balance is restored, and the soul reclaims its place in the eternal harmony of the universe. In the quiet depths of the records Akashic, where the echoes of past civilizations are preserved in celestial harmony, there lies a sacred truth that ties our present spiritual, veiling to the distant echoes of Atlantis. It is a story woven into the very fabric of our soul's journey, a story of grandeur, loss, and the awakening that beckons us to remember our divine origins. As I delve into the ancient chronicles revealed through Cayce's readings, the connection between the disappearance of spiritual awareness and the fall of Atlantis becomes illuminated with profound clarity. The fall of Atlantis was not merely a cataclysm of material destruction, it was, more significantly, a spiritual fracture, a severing of the divine connection that once thrived among its inhabitants. The records reveal that Atlantis in its prime was a civilization attuned to higher consciousness, a society that embodies the union of science, spirituality, and divine purpose. These individuals, at their highest expression, sought to embody the Christ consciousness, unconditional love, harmony, and unity with all life. Yet as the Atlantean civilization advanced, their pursuit of mastery over the physical and mental realms led to an imbalance. The records disclose that the Atlanteans possessed a deep understanding of the electromagnetic energies of the Earth, harnessing power that could elevate or devastate. As their ambition grew, so did their hubris. The soul's divine remembrance waned within their collective consciousness, and spiritual forgetfulness began to take root. They drifted from the sacred harmony that once guided them, substituting it with material pursuits and the illusion of separateness. The fall of Atlantis, as revealed by Cayce, was a manifestation of this spiritual amnesia, a collective forgetfulness of the divine origin of the soul. The records state that the spiritual consciousness of the Atlanteans was veiled, and many souls in their incarnations became lost in the illusions of material power and control. The divine spark within was overshadowed by ego extensions, greed, and the desire to dominate the natural laws of creation. The spiritual awareness that once illuminated their civilization was eclipsed by shadows of ignorance. In the aftermath of this downfall, a profound amnesia settled upon the Earth's surface, a spiritual sleep that would last for countless ages. The soul's remembrance of its divine origin was obscured, and humanity was cast into a long period of spiritual dormancy, what Cayce often referred to as the dark ages of consciousness. The divine connection was fractured. The memory of the Christ consciousness was buried deep within the collective subconscious, awaiting its rediscovery. The records point toward a vital truth. This spiritual amnesia was not a mere accident of history, but a necessary phase in the soul's evolution. The soul, in its infinite wisdom, allows these dark periods to deepen its longing for divine reunion. It is during these times of forgetfulness that the soul's desire for awakening becomes most potent. The fall of Atlantis serves as a sacred archetype, a reminder of what occurs when the divine spark is neglected and the soul becomes entangled in the illusions of the material world. Yet, within the depths of these ancient stories lies a promise, the potential for remembrance and renewal. The same divine consciousness that guided the Atlanteans in their highest moments is still alive within each of us. The records reveal that the spiritual amnesia is a temporary state, a veil that can be lifted through conscious effort, self-awareness, and the rekindling of our connection to the divine. Today, as modern humanity begins to awaken from its slumber, we are invited to remember the lessons of Atlantis. The journey back to spiritual wholeness involves recognizing the origins of our divine nature and actively working to restore the harmony that was lost. The records emphasize that the Christ consciousness, the universal love that unites all beings, is the key to healing the wounds of the past and rebuilding our spiritual heritage. The fall of Atlantis was a collective lesson, a cosmic reminder that the pursuit of power without spiritual consciousness leads to destruction. It is not our destiny to repeat this cycle of forgetfulness, but to transcend it. The soul seeks the balance between material mastery and spiritual humility, and Cayce's teachings urge us to Remember that our true power resides in reconnecting with the divine within. As the records reveal, many souls who incarnated after Atlantis carry within their Akashic records the echoes of this ancient history. These echoes are the seeds of remembrance, waiting to be awakened through meditation, prayer, and conscious alignment with our higher selves. The journey of the soul, from the depths of Atlantis' fall to its current awakening, is a testament to the eternal nature of divine consciousness, a journey that never truly ends but continually refines itself toward the realization of unity with the divine. In this sacred unfolding, the mystery of Atlantis becomes a guiding light, illuminating the path for us to reclaim our divine heritage. It is a call to awaken the divine within, to heal the remnants of spiritual amnesia, and to embody the Christ consciousness once more. For in doing so, we not only restore ourselves but also contribute to the healing of our world, awakening the collective consciousness from its long slumber and guiding humanity back to the divine truth that has always been within us. The records affirm that the fall of Atlantis was a necessary chapter in the grand narrative of evolution, a chapter that teaches us the profound importance of spiritual remembrance and humility. The divine spark within each soul is eternal, and through conscious effort, we can rediscover the sacred truths that once guided a civilization lost to time, but never lost to the divine. The journey continues, and the awakening is upon us. In the silent depths of the soul's eternal journey, there lies a divine promise, a luminous thread woven into the fabric of our existence that beckons each traveler back to their inherent divine origin. As the echoes of Atlantis fade into the mists of time, and as collective amnesia veils the consciousness of humanity, there emerges a sacred awakening, the awakening of the Christ consciousness within each individual. It is this awakening that holds the key to restoring spiritual integrity and reconnecting us with our divine purpose. The readings reveal that the Christ consciousness is not merely a historical figure or a distant ideal. It is an intrinsic vibrational state encoded within the soul's blueprint. It is the divine spark that links the individual to the higher realms, to the universal mind, and to the divine source itself. When the soul begins to remember this light, when it recognizes its divine heritage, the process of spiritual rebirth begins. The Christ consciousness, in essence, is the universal consciousness of divine love, compassion, wisdom, and unity, qualities that once flowed freely through the consciousness of Atlantis before the fall, before forgetfulness cast its shadow. The emergence of this Christ consciousness within the individual is a profound event, a moment of divine revelation that transpires in the depths of the heart and mind. It is a revelation that awakens the dormant divine potential, illuminating the path of the soul's evolution. As the soul awakens to this inner light, the veils of illusion that have kept it bound in duality and separation begin to dissolve. The individual's consciousness begins to expand beyond the limited egoic self, embracing the expansive awareness of divine unity. The process of awakening is neither accidental nor coincidental. The spiritual laws of karma and the unfolding of the soul's journey serve as the guiding forces, urging the soul toward this awakened state. The soul seeks balance, it seeks harmony with its divine purpose. The awakening of the Christ consciousness is the culmination of this quest, an inner recognition that every aspect of life, every challenge, every joy, and every sorrow serves as a sacred lesson in divine self-awareness. In the Registros Akashicos, it is written that each soul carries the memory of its divine origin, an imprint of the Christ consciousness that can be accessed through deep introspection and spiritual discipline. This memory acts as a beacon, guiding the soul back to its divine home. When an individual begins to attune to these records, they tap into a wellspring of divine knowledge and love that transcends time and space. It is from this sacred source that the power to restore their spiritual integrity flows. The awakening of the Christ consciousness is also a collective phenomenon, yet it begins within each individual. As more souls remember their divine heritage and embrace the Christ consciousness within, a ripple effect unfolds across humanity. This awakening is the catalyst for the spiritual renaissance that the earth so desperately needs, a return to compassion, understanding, and unity. It is the divine blueprint for healing the wounds of Atlantis and restoring the consciousness of love that once bridged the vast divides of separation. For the individual, this awakening manifests as a profound sense of purpose and inner peace. The soul recognizes that its true nature is divine, eternal, and interconnected with all life. This realization ignites a compassionate response, an innate desire to serve, to uplift, and to embody the Christ-like virtues of mercy, humility, and unconditional love. The soul's integrity is restored as it aligns with its divine purpose, shedding the illusions of separation and duality. This process is also a journey of self-discovery, where the inner Christ consciousness guides the seeker through the labyrinth of their own mind and heart. Meditation, prayer, and deep reflection serve as portals to reconnect with the divine spark within. The soul learns to listen to the still small voice, the voice of divine wisdom whispering through the silence of the heart. In this sacred communion, the individual begins to embody the Christ consciousness more fully, becoming a living testament to divine love in action. Yet it is vital to understand that this awakening is not a sudden event. Though moments of profound realization may occur, it is a continual unfolding, a gradual reawakening of the divine qualities that have always resided within. The soul's journey is one of remembrance and reintegration, reclaiming the divine power, love, and wisdom that are its birthright. As Cayce's readings reveal, the divine plan is never abandoned. It is always available to those who seek it with sincerity and humility. The awakening of the Christ consciousness within the individual restores their spiritual integrity, aligning them once more with the divine purpose that transcends time and space. It is this awakening that initiates the return to our true nature, a return to the divine child within, shining brightly as the beacon of hope and divine love for all of humanity. In this sacred unfolding, the soul recognizes that it is not separate from the divine, but a vital expression of it. As the Christ consciousness awakens, the individual becomes a conduit of divine love, a living reflection of the divine light that has always been within, waiting patiently for the moment of remembrance. This is the divine revelation, the secret long held within the universe, that through awakening the soul reclaims its divine heritage and fulfills its sacred destiny. In the silent depths of the soul's eternal journey, there resides an innate longing, a sacred whisper beckoning the spirit toward its divine source. The readings reveal that this yearning is not born of mere curiosity, but of an intrinsic remembrance woven into the very fabric of our being. When some souls appear to disappear, spiritually, it is often because they have temporarily lost awareness of their divine connection, entrapped in illusions of separation and material distraction. Yet, within the sacred mystery lies a luminous pathway, a divine blueprint that guides the awakening soul back to wholeness. This path is illuminated by the understanding of the Akashic records, the universal library of all that has been, is, and shall be. The journey toward reconnection begins with a gentle, deliberate turning inward, a sacred act of inner reflection. The soul must remember that it is not a transient fragment of matter, but an eternal spark of divine consciousness. As the readings reveal, the divine plan embedded within each human life is beautifully orchestrated. Our purpose is to awaken the Christ consciousness within, to realize our unity with all creation, and to fulfill the divine design set forth before our incarnation. To access the hidden knowledge stored within the Akashic records is no mere act of curiosity, but a sacred discipline rooted in purity of intent and humility. The records are the divine memory of all souls, a cosmic ledger recording every thought, deed, and lesson learned across countless lifetimes. They contain the keys to understanding why some become disconnected, why others seem to drift away, from the spiritual essence, and how the journey toward reattachment can be realized. In the sacred teachings of Cayce, it is revealed that the soul's reawakening begins with a conscious recognition of its divine heritage. The first step is inner silence, an act of surrender, where the individual quiets the tumult of the world and turns the heart inward to listen. Meditation and prayer become vital tools, not merely rituals, but sacred portals through which the soul begins to remember its divine origin and purpose. In this quiet communion, the soul can reach beyond the veil of illusion and access the whisperings of the divine consciousness within. Once the heart is open and intention pure, the soul can seek access to the Akashic records through disciplined spiritual practice. Cayce's readings emphasize that such access is not reserved for a chosen few, but is available to every soul willing to approach with reverence and humility. The key lies in aligning oneself with divine love, an unconditional love that seeks truth, healing, and understanding. When the soul approaches the records with a sincere desire for growth and healing, the divine energy responds, revealing the lessons, patterns, and unresolved karma that may have contributed to its disconnection. This process of self-discovery often uncovers hidden layers of karma, those energetic residues from past actions that influence present experiences. The soul must understand that karma is not merely punishment, but a divine balancing act, a sacred opportunity to learn, grow, and restore harmony. As Cayce's readings reveal, the soul seeks balance and wholeness, and the EI pathway to spiritual rescue often involves forgiving oneself and others, releasing burdens of guilt, and embracing compassion. The records also reveal that the soul's journey toward wholeness is intertwined with the conscious development of Christ consciousness, the divine realization that all life is sacred and interconnected. As the soul awakens to this realization, it begins to embody qualities of love, compassion, forgiveness, and humility. Such qualities serve as keys to unlock higher states of consciousness, enabling deeper access to divine wisdom and guidance. In this sacred process, the soul is called to align itself with the divine plan, an intricate web of divine love and purpose that sustains all creation. Cayce's insights affirm that the divine plan is not a rigid blueprint, but a fluid, dynamic expression of divine love, seeking to manifest through each individual. When the soul aligns itself with this plan, it moves beyond the illusion of separation and begins to embody the Christ consciousness, an awakening to the divine within and around. The journey back to spiritual wholeness also involves service, an act of giving and sharing one's divine gifts with others. Cayce's teachings emphasize that when the soul begins to recognize its unity with all life, it naturally extends acts of compassion, healing, and love. This outward expression is a mirror of the inner awakening, reinforcing the connection with the divine and bringing the soul closer to its true purpose. As the soul reestablishes its harmony with divine consciousness, it experiences a profound sense of peace, a divine resonance that echoes the harmony of the universe itself. This peace is not merely the absence of conflict, but a state of being rooted in divine love and understanding. It is the soul's true home, where the divine plan unfolds effortlessly and the Christ consciousness flows freely. In closing, the sacred teachings reveal that the pathway to reconnection is a journey of inner awakening, disciplined reflection, and divine humility. Accessing the Akashic records provides the sacred keys to understanding and healing, illuminating the lessons and karma that may have caused the soul to wander. Yet, above all, the journey is about awakening the divine within, reminding the soul of its eternal connection to the Christ consciousness, the divine source from which all life flows. The light of Cayce's revelations guides us. The soul seeks only to remember, to heal, and to align once more with the divine plan. For in doing so, it reclaims its divine heritage, ignites the Christ consciousness within, and moves forward in harmony with the divine purpose, restoring love, compassion, and unity to a world in need. The mystery is not beyond reach, it is inscribed within us, waiting patiently for awakening. Remember, dear traveler of the soul's sacred path, that every disappearance from the outward view is but a divine pause, an opportunity for inner reflection, healing, and the rekindling of the Christ consciousness within. The records reveal that these moments of silence are not signs of abandonment, but sacred preludes to rebirth, when the soul, in humble patience, aligns itself once more with the divine plan, restoring its harmony and purpose. As we walk this journey together, let us hold steadfast to the truth that the divine spark within us is eternal and never truly lost. It merely awaits our conscious remembrance and loving action. I invite you now to share your insights below, your questions, your experiences, as we awaken to the divine truth together. Subscribe to continue receiving sacred knowledge and share this message with others seeking the light, because in unity and shared purpose, we accelerate the awakening of all souls toward love, wholeness, and divine realization.